We have a very short agenda, which is great because I want to tell a story tonight that might take 4 or 5 minutes. We're remembering Buddy Shropshire today. He passed away a week ago Sunday. He was going to be 97 years old in June, and he was a long lifer, Millis Townie, Coast Guard, World War II veteran, and just an all-around terrific guy. And I want to tell a story about him that I think tells you everything you need to know about who Buddy Shropshire was. So, when I was running for select board 3 years ago, somebody said, Ellen, you should go down to the Legion. Every Thursday morning they have a brunch. Go down to the Legion, introduce yourself to the veterans down there. Okay, I say. And I go down to the Legion, and I knew Buddy from growing up. He was in my mother's class here in Millis, graduating class. And I knew him, and I knew a few other people. And I go down, and I start to go down every Thursday morning. And we're getting into May and June, and I got elected, thank you. And I'm still going down. And Buddy says to me, Ellen, he says, the cane. Do you know where the cane is? I go, I don't know what you're talking about. For Christ's sakes, Ellen, the cane, the Boston, block his ears, the Boston Post cane. You don't know anything about it? I go, what's the Boston Post? Oh, for Christ's sakes, Ellen. It's the cane they gave out. The Boston Post was a magazine back in the 20s, 30s. They gave out, I don't know, 1,000 canes to towns in New England. And Millis got one. And it was the duty of the board in Millis, or governor, whoever's in charge, to give it to the oldest living citizen. And then it gets passed down forever. And do you know anything? I said, I don't know where. Do you know where it is? I said, I don't know where it is, Buddy. Oh, for Christ's sakes, Ellen. I know where it is. I go, okay, why don't you share it with me? It's a town hall. It's town hall. It's in the safe. I go, there's a safe in town hall? For Christ's sake. Honestly, by the end of the conversation, I thought he thought my name was for Christ's sakes, Ellen. But anyway, he says, it's in town hall. You go down in the basement. You go halfway down, and on the left, there's a walk-in vault. Go into the vault, go all the way to the back, take a look at the left. There's a filing cabinet up against the wall in the corner on the left. On the top of the filing cabinet is the cane. I go, okay. So remember, Mike and Karen, I come in the beginning of June. I go, you guys know where there's a vault in this building? Yeah, it's in the basement. I go, you know anything about the cane? And Mike says something like, yeah, we had a cane. I don't know if we ever gave it away. I said, do you know where the cane is? No, I go, I know where the cane is, follow me. We go down in the basement, we find the vault, we walk in, we look in the left corner, there's a filing cabinet. On top of the filing cabinet is the cane, this famous cane. It's a beautiful cane. It's got a gold cap. It's inscribed to Millis. And it's, I don't know, from the 20s, so it's 100 years old. And I'm just so excited we found this cane, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe Buddy wants the cane. Like, he's going to be 95 in a week. I think we should give Buddy the cane. He got to be one of the oldest people in Millis. So we Karen makes a proclamation. We get him. We get the cane. But we're going to do it. So I go to Buddy the next meeting. Down at the Legion, I say, Buddy, I go, I'd like you to come to our next select board meeting, which is Monday night. And he goes, okay, I'll be there. I go, okay, you'll be there. I mean, he gives me an argument for everything. And why would you be there? But I'm happy you're going to be there. Yes, I'm going to be there. I go, okay. So sure enough, it happens to be the first meeting that I was present at as a select board member, because the very first meeting I was sick and I Zoomed in, and this was the first meeting. He knew it was the first meeting. And so, sure enough, we have everything ready. We're here. He comes in. He sits down right in the front, and I'm thinking, well, he's coming because he got to know he's getting this cane. So we present it to him, and he is shocked. I mean, he's overcome. And I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I really did think that he had this whole thing set up. And so we give it to him, and he's just so pleased, and he's looking and studying it. And so we have a presentation, and we make it Buddy Shropshire Day, which is June 6th or 7th. And he goes away with the cane, and I see him a couple of days later, and I say to him, buddy, I go, you were shocked. You were visibly shocked. You didn't know you were getting this. No, absolutely did not know I was getting this. I said, buddy, why would I just ask you to come to this nothing meeting? Why would you come? He looks at me and he says, Ellen, I knew it was your first in-person meeting, and I thought maybe you wanted some support. So, if you want to know anything about Buddy Shropshire, that tells you everything you need to know about Buddy Shropshire. So I'm going to end with that, and I'm just going to give you some information on the service that's coming up. It's going to be Wednesday, this Wednesday, from 10 to 11:30 at the Roberts Mitchell Funeral Home next to the Legion in Millis. From there, about 11:30, whatever, it's going to go to the cemetery for internment, and then after that, they're going to put on a small luncheon at the Legion, which is on Village Street next to, I call it Little Peach, what's it called?
Exchange Street.
Well, nobody knows the name of
Union.
the store.
Curve.
Richdale
There we
Farms.
go.
I
Sorry,
can
Richdale,
never
I never
remember
remembered
that.
either.
Anyway, that's what we're doing. That's what his daughter Debbie and son Paul are putting on. So, again, this Wednesday at 10 a.m. at Mitchell Roberts, or Roberts Mitchell, I'm not sure, funeral home. That's
And
my
I just
story.
wanted to add just a very quick thing about Buddy. He was a fascinating guy. But one of his stories, and he told us, and I think Joyce was there actually at the Council on Aging, is that when he was young and he was out on the baseball field, the Hindenburg flew over Millis
Oh, right.
en route. And he saw the Hindenburg fly over, and I always thought that was a fascinating
Fascinating.
story, dark story a little bit, but he was like, oh, yeah, I saw it. It was like, no big deal.
He's, not only did he see everything
saw
in Millis,
everything.
he remembered
It was quite
everything.
good.
He remembered
Truly.
everything. It
Yep.
just was crazy, crazy good.
Okay.
Okay, now the next announcement is the forum. Do you want to do this? Or?
Why would I do it?
Oh, I don't know. I actually, you looked like you had nothing to do, so I was going to engage you. I'm actually the liaison to the Energy Committee. So they're going to have a forum at the library in the Roach Room on March 6th. And it's to try to get residents' input into how to shape Millis. So the Energy Committee is working on a climate action plan. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has tasked the towns and cities in Massachusetts to develop a plan, a roadmap, how to get to net zero, which is zero carbon footprint, by 2050. So the Energy Committee's been working very hard on different things, and this is one more piece of that puzzle. So it's inviting residents to come in. There's going to be some snacks and some games for kids, and it's a forum where there's question and answer, and bring your ideas, what you think works, and they will tell you where we are, where Millis is with that. They do a great, the Energy Committee, not for nothing, is doing a great job with the 6 to 8.
There's usually cookies and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
They're bringing some kind of snacks, that's all I know. So it's how to shape the Millis Climate Action Plan to become carbon neutral by 2050 and share your vision for a more sustainable community. That's what Millis
There's
is
information
doing.
on the homepage of the website, if you forget when it is.
Of our website, and there's information on the Energy Committee's website
Yes,
as
there
well,
is.
right? There's a link
Yes.
that takes you there. So that's number 2. Middle high school project update. Craig?
Yeah, we're putting this on each agenda just so there's the possibility for anybody in the audience who'd like to ask questions or comment on it. We'll give updates as updates occur. The committee hasn't met since our last meeting where we discussed it, so there is really no update. Except they will be meeting Wednesday at 5 p.m. on Zoom. I don't have the email address for that, but the link for that, but I'm sure it's out there.
They can just go to
This Wednesday.
the school building committee website?
And that just got
Karen?
changed. It was supposed to be Tuesday night, and they just moved it to Wednesday at 5 because
Right.
of quorum issues.
And during that
Yeah.
meeting, what are they doing, Craig?
I think, from what I understand, all it is just to approve what the school committee and the select board approved,
School building committee.
the school building committee then has to approve it also. So after the two elected boards approve it, it's bureaucracy. They have to approve it also, then it gets shipped off to the state, and then we're done with our application process.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be, don't hold me to it, I'm going to zoom into it, but I don't think it's going to be a hot and furious meeting with a lot of information. I think it's more just voting.
Where would we find the link?
It'll be probably on the calendar because it's the,
Yeah, it's posted, it should be posted at the school building committee
it may be posted for Tuesday.
Town or
Yeah,
for school?
town.
for town.
It's probably posted at this moment for Tuesday night, but
It's been changed.
it's been changed to Wednesday at 5.
Wednesday at 5, there was a conflict.
And getting everybody in that committee together Wednesday at 5 was the only time that they could find.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to the public apology.
Yes. Well, apparently at our last meeting, not apparently, at our last meeting, 2 meetings ago? I thought it was our
No,
last one. It was
last
our last
meeting.
one. It was our last one,
Yeah.
yes.
God, it seems like a
Yeah.
lifetime ago.
I know, doesn't it? But Kathy McGinnis stated that I made a comment during our all-day budget marathon in a poor attempt at a joke, that Bob would have to find a new office due to the HR position. I don't recall saying that ever, and I was very adamant that I never said that. Well, lo and behold, 6.5 hours into the meeting, I did make a poor attempt at a joke that was interpreted as a threat to Bob and his office, and I was adamant I would never say that. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm aging or the fact the meeting ran 8 hours, but I have no recollection of that line. I had no recollection until Kathy sent me the video clip. So I'm apologizing. So anyway, I owe Kathy an apology. I was very vocal in my defense of myself in error, and I did it right there at that podium, so I'm going to apologize in the same room. So Kathy, I apologize for my denial and the tone that I took while denying it. I was way too adamant in my objections. She was absolutely correct. I did make that comment, and the tone I took was a little bit too harsh. I'd also like to apologize to Bob, who in no way was I threatening to take his office. That's not in our purview. As we pointed out at our last meeting, that was our last meeting.
No, we can't take people's
No,
offices when we want to?
maybe Mike's, he's the only person that works for us. But any decisions about office space or anything else goes through the town administrator. That was not a threat at Bob, that was not a threat to anybody's office, that was attempted a joke that was misinterpreted, and I apologize for that.
Okay,
There we go.
thank you. A vote. We have a vote, Aaron?
Madam Chair.
We have to vote on my apology?
So, following,
We formally accept.
Yeah.
following
You have
up
to
your,
abstain.
your last meeting, the board opened the warrant for the spring annual town meeting. 14 days have passed, as is required by law. I'm recommending that the board vote to close the warrant for the spring annual town meeting. And I did put a memo in your packet that outlined some of the 15 or 16 articles that we're aware of for consideration at this point, many of which are the standard articles you see every year. But I am asking that the board vote to close the May 5th, 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
I move that the board close the May 5th, 2025 annual town meeting warrant.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
just like to, one special article that I don't see on the list. If we can change the bylaw, put a change in there, just not the charter, but just the town vote bylaw. I think that just requires a town vote to put the what do you call it, the tri-board meetings as a recurring event. And we don't have to lay a date out, but if we say it's 3 to 4 times a year, something just to put them into the bylaws to have them exist.
Very good.
All right.
Have that on the next list.
Explain that to me.
Well, right now, it was a great idea that was had,
Yeah,
and it was never put into anything official.
but it has to be.
Well, it doesn't have to be, but we're doing them right now because we all
We
think it's a
it
great
should be.
idea.
Okay.
But if we get a new committee where
They don't
somebody
think it's
doesn't
a-
think it's a good one,
Yeah.
it doesn't stay in there. So if we put it into the bylaws, and I don't know that we have to spell
And
out
if they don't want to do it, they just take it out of the bylaw.
well, they have to vote to take it out of the bylaw, but until then, they're stuck.
Okay, good.
But town meeting has to take it out of the bylaw. So if town meeting thinks it's a good idea for
Oh,
us to
cool.
do it, then they won't take it out. And Yeah, I don't think we need to spell out uncertain dates, but I think 4 meetings a year would be probably adequate and to be scheduled by the chairs.
Very good.
That was in the financial
It was.
recommendations
It
too,
was,
right?
yes.
I'm not that good. I didn't
oh,
come up with it
okay.
on my own.
I know, I'm like, this is a
But
good
I didn't
thing.
understand it.
Yeah, that's a
Because
good
we've
thing.
been doing it, and I'm thinking, why do we need to do that?
Why not?
Yeah.
But good, I like it. We have appointments.
Yes, Madam Chair, I am recommending the board vote to ratify my appointment of Chris Canny as a backup alternate building commissioner for the town of Millis. Chris Canny is the building commissioner for our neighboring town of Sherborne, and Chris has assisted us during the recent transition where our building commissioner retired. And we just recently brought on a new building commissioner. And Chris did a great job for us in handling that transition. And although we do have a building commissioner and an alternate building commissioner, we found that it's a good idea to have a backup in case there's an emergency. If for some reason neither of those officials are available, that we have someone that's been appointed by the board that can handle things in a short-term situation. The position has no stipend. He would only be paid if he was actually called upon to conduct work for the town.
Okay,
So I'm making that recommendation to the board.
I move that the board ratify the town administrator's appointment of Christopher Canny as backup alternate building commissioner for the town of Millis.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you.
We have another appointment? Sir,
Multiple.
multiples.
These are the board's appointments. I
Oh.
can speak to these. So Mark Conroy and Denise Gibbons, who are currently school committee members, have both resigned from the school building committee for their roles on the school building committee, which has created 2 vacancies, and we thank them both for their service to the community. Robin Briggs and Sheena Canistrari have volunteered to fill the 2 vacancies on the school building committee, so we're recommending that you now appoint them, and it would be UC, so until completion of the project.
Right.
Okay,
And these are the 2 positions that have historically been filled by school committee members.
I was
Correct,
gonna
there's
ask
other
that.
people on that board.
Okay.
right.
I move that the board appoint Robin Briggs and Shayna Canistrari as school building committee members until completion of the middle high school building project.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
And again, Mark Conroy was also the school committee's representative on the capital planning committee. He has resigned from that role as well, which has created another vacancy. Again, thank you to Mark. Mark did a lot of things for the financial,
he did.
for the
Yeah.
financial things in town, and this was just another one of the roles that he held. So Sean Powers has volunteered to be the school committee rep and fill the vacancy. So I recommend his appointment. And you'll notice the appointment it's interesting. So Sean, because Mark is stepping down midterm, Sean is appointed to fill the remainder of the term.
Which
So
is
that's how
till
it's
when?
written. It's
June
written in the-
30th,
right,
2026.
2026.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're 2-year appointments, so you're just filling in.
Okay, I move that the board appoint Sean Powers as the school committee representative on the capital planning committee through June 30th, 2026.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. One final
And the final
appointment?
one is the Recreation Committee. And the Recreation Committee was delighted, they say, to hear that Steve Levanges had an interest in joining the effort to support the town recreation department, and they are asking the board to appoint him.
I move that the board appoint Steve Levangie as a recreation committee member through June 30th, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous
And I
appointments.
believe that is filling in for Pam Mustard, who had been on the committee for, oh my gosh, years and years and years, right? How long was Pam on the committee? As long as I can remember. Forever. She was an
Really?
amazing
Yeah.
member, and she resigned, so again, thank you to Pam. That's where we're at.
Okay, very good.
Robin, you're in. We
Robin,
voted
you're
you.
already in. You can leave now. You can leave now.
And more importantly, you can vote at the next meeting.
Good job, though. Good job.
You know.
Okay. Now, we're
See ya.
Thank
a little
you.
bit late, Christine, for the hearing. Sorry about that. But we're ready for the hearing. Correct?
Is Christine up there?
Why am I not seeing Christine?
I'm
not
not
seeing
seeing
Christine.
anybody either.
Ruh-roh.
hold on a second. Good Lord, she just emailed me, so there must be something here. Hold on, let's see if she sent another email. She said she was going to call in.
I don't know if we're set up for that.
Is that her?
Is that you, Christine? Oh, shoot, that was her.
Okay.
Are you there? We see you now. Okay, I wasn't sure if you managed to call in. All right, welcome.
I'm here.
Okay, is the floor hers? Why don't we do this?
Nope. I
We
move-
have to open up, we have a hearing and everything.
I move that the board open the hearing to consider a grant of location to install conduit by Eversource.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
You threw me because there's no gap. I thought I was going to go down to the next line.
Oh. Okay, now it's,
Yeah, now it's the next one.
Okay. Are we ready for who?
Yep,
takes
so
the-
Christine, I don't know if you want to speak to it?
Sure, this is Christine from Eversource, and we're looking to get a grant of location to install approximately 62 feet of conduit at CMH 17075, and the purpose of, on Paddock Lane, and the purpose of that would be to provide electric service to number 5 Paddock Lane.
Is anybody here from 5 Paddock Lane? Are you okay with this? Do you want to get up and say anything, or?
Okay.
You're okay?
Yep.
You're just making sure it happens?
Yes.
All right. I like
So
it.
if you remember at the last, we had a hearing recently, right,
Right.
Christine?
For the neighbor.
For the neighbor, and for some reason, we didn't get the 5 paddock, and so this is just kind of the other half of that.
Okay, so is that it, Christine? Are you done?
I think you got somebody.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to get up? Come on up. Didn't we see you last time?
You did?
We
Yes.
did.
You're
He
the one
said,
who
"Come
told us,
again."
what, everything we were doing wrong.
Well, not really. Tom
not
O'Connell,
really.
18 Rolling Meadow Drive, which is the abutter to number 5,
Okay.
and 3 is the abutter to 5. Just, Christine, again, as was voted on last meeting, that it will be done, both of them will be done at the same time, and you guys will notify me so that I know when you're coming to do the work, because that electric box is on my property behind my fence, and we have a dog. And do you know when you're going to do this work yet, once it's approved?
Well, yes, the original hearing for number 3 Paddock Lane, that one got approved, and it was conditioned upon notifying 3 Paddock Lane, 5 Paddock Lane, and 18 Rolling Meadow, that you're notified in advance of the work being done, and that some of the abutters may want to be there, if they may want to be present at the time. And I know that there was a concern about the fence and impact the dog, that was all conditioned upon, the approval of the first one.
Correct. But now that the board, which I believe will approve this one, you'll now have both of them approved as of tonight. Do you have any idea when work should be commenced, or you have a time frame?
No, I don't know if there's still a road moratorium. Does that usually end in April?
Road,
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a 5-year from,
Well, there's a seasonal one.
Seasonal, because we
Oh,
can't get
seasonal road.
asphalt. Yeah.
No,
right.
I don't know that we can be able to get a street opening permit just yet from DPW, but we'd like to try to get out there as soon as possible. So once I release this job, I'll notify the construction folks about all the conditions, and then they'll go and they'll get the street opening permit, and they'll try to do the construction as soon as possible.
Okay, for my case, I have no issues with it. I just want to ensure that both of them, one trench out to the street and then both get hooked up.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
only thing my concern. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Put that in the motion if you want.
Yeah, we'll
right?
put that in the motion.
Uh-oh.
Add that, please.
okay, hold on.
It's not math, but there is extra words.
So what are we putting in the motion?
That
I would
both
just-
are done at the same time.
Yeah, that it's approved contingent upon work being completed at the same time.
And notification of the property
Right.
owners.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I'm writing.
And, yeah, notification of, it sounded like there were 4 property
Christine,
owners.
how will they notify people? Will they send them an email? How will that work?
I'm actually not sure, but I can find out. Once once
a
it
good
gets
sign.
released
Yeah.
from me, like, then it goes to
Very
the construction
confident.
folks.
Okay.
And I know they do have plans with the fines, but I'll find out for sure how that's done and get back to you.
That, great, that would be greatly appreciated.
I mean, not for nothing, Christine, but do you have contact information for these people other than street addresses, snail mail? Just asking.
Well, if you look on the petitioning plan itself, it's going to show the abutters. Number 3 and number 5, Tanner Lane is Wayne L. Hanson. And then 18 Rolling Meadow Drive is Thomas O'Connell.
That's correct. Hanson was the former owner of.
Yeah, you have I remember Wayne Hanson, I don't even think he's still with us. Christine, the first name that you said, that's a previous owner. Do you have the current owner?
I know, but we can find out.
And
Well,
they're
you want us
here.
to just give it to you, or do you want to find out?
Oh, no, if you have it, I'll take it.
Yeah, she's here, so, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
she's here, hold on one sec. State your name and address.
Sure. Nancy, Nancy, Rosedale, Rosedale, and the address is 5 Paddock Lane, Millis 02054.
Did you get that, Christine?
I did Nancy Rosedale at 5
Yes.
Paddock Lane.
Right.
But what about number 3, Paddock Lane?
Who lives at 3 Paddock Lane, anybody know?
Derek Ferguson.
Yeah.
He's the he bought the property he's building. He's also a neighbor on Causeway.
All right, so his name is Derek
Derek Ferguson.
Ferguson. Do you have his name, Christine? Derek Ferguson?
I'm writing it down right now. Derek Ferguson. Yeah, and he's number 3 Paddock.
Is he 3 Paddock?
Yes.
Okay, now we're missing, what's the fourth
No,
one?
we've got everybody.
No, and 18
That's
Rolling
it.
Meadow,
There were only
we've got
two
18
properties
Rolling
Yeah,
Meadow.
yeah.
Yeah, 18 was Thomas O'Connell.
Okay, Thomas O'Connell.
So. Yeah, but we don't
I
have
don't
to
think
do
we wanna
it
give
on
that
TV.
out
Yeah,
on
we don't
TV.
do, we don't have to
Okay.
do that. All right, I
You
think,
don't want us to do that.
Hi, Tom.
I know.
But I think that,
They'll figure it out.
yeah.
Okay, so are we good, everybody? Thomas, are we good?
We are. Karen's got all the contact info.
I do.
that she
Okay,
needs.
Christine, are
the
you
vote
good?
I have to make a motion.
Yeah, we haven't made
All
the
right,
vote
we're-
yet.
we're making a motion, hold on.
And if you haven't heard, I know where to find Christine, too.
I know,
Okay.
hold on one second.
I move that
Motion.
I move that the board close the hearing to consider a grant of location to install conduit by Eversource.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay. All right. I move that the board grant permission to NSTAR Electric Company, DBA Eversource Energy, to construct and install a line of conduits and manholes with the necessary wires and cables therein under the following public way. Paddock Lane, northerly approximately 200 feet plus or minus north of Rolling Meadow Drive. Install approximately 62 feet plus or minus of conduit at PMH 17075, provided the work is completed at the same time for both 3 and 5 Paddock Lane, and that 18 Rolling Meadow is notified in advance.
Does that sound good?
Great.
Okay, Craig?
Second?
Second, yeah.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Awesome,
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you,
thank you.
thank you,
Thanks, guys, thanks, Tom.
Good night. Thank you.
thanks.
Okay, a municipal moment, my favorite part of the night. Craig. So anyway, just as an FYI,
Oh, there we go.
we wanted to talk about taxes, real estate taxes tonight. That was on the agenda. It's been on for a while. But with school vacation, we couldn't get in touch with a lot of people that we want to be here to schedule them. So we're pushing that off to our next meeting. So we are filling in tonight with talking about the town building and school building maintenance history. Because I see a lot of comments on how past boards were delinquent in their duties, and that's why we are in the shape we are in, and that is not true. So, you want to start, Mike, or Craig, or, because I wasn't here.
I'd be happy to start. I will start with talking about, where we've gone since I've arrived. The town has had a really heavy focus on our building maintenance since 2017-18 timeframe. I arrived in 2017, but I can say that, you know, when I arrived, we were having some ongoing problems with this building, the Veterans Memorial Building, and a few problems with you know, follow-up problems for the library and the fire station and police station, just some HVAC issues and things like that we've been working through. We have made it a very high priority. We have increased our maintenance budgets. I think as everyone here knows, we did consolidate our maintenance operations with the school back in the summer of 2022. That's been extremely successful. And we really have taken leaps and bounds since then. And I certainly feel like the town's buildings are maintained very well. It's my understanding the school buildings are maintained very well as well. And I think we're moving in the right direction. We do have.
Talking to the mic. I was even gonna say that. 4 inches.
Sorry.
4 inches.
I knew at some point I'd get my lecture. We certainly are continuing to work on those issues. We did have actually an article for some additional maintenance in this building and in the fire station over the past several years. We did have some problems here with water infiltration and our HVAC system. I think we've taken care of about 90% of our water infiltration issues. The ones that are remaining are not critical items, but we're still working on a few of those. We're still working on our HVAC upgrades in this building. As some folks may know, some of the infrastructure in this building does date back to before Buddy was born.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you know, there have been
100 years,
updates,
over
but there are
100 years.
parts of the system that are very old that, you know, still work, but occasionally have to have some special maintenance. We're continuing to work on that. You know, I can with certainty say that the buildings are kept in great condition at this point, and the remaining issues are mostly on the municipal side, are mostly in this building, and I think they're under control. They're fairly minor.
Okay, but
And-
talk about what that we
And
did.
prior to that,
Yeah.
it's my understanding, and again, I wasn't here then,
Yes.
that the town did go through a number of years with a lot of financial stresses on it.
I can speak to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will turn it over to the folks that were here then.
Yeah.
But I can say that, you know, I think things were addressed, but they were addressed in ways to take care of it in temporary solutions because of the financial stresses.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have had some years of some healthier free cash numbers where we've been able to focus some capital funds on these projects here. But from my perspective, the buildings now in the town, and there's a lot of new buildings and renovated buildings, the town's buildings are in excellent shape
Yes.
overall. With perhaps obviously the middle high school has some serious base issues that can't be solved by small maintenance funds, but I think the rest of the buildings are in excellent shape.
Okay, take us back to the Wayback
The
Machine.
Wayback Machine. I started in the Finance Committee, I think in '96. And we were really excited if we got, I'm loud. We were really excited when we got $200,000 to $400,000 of free cash each year. That was a big year for us. Correct me if I'm wrong, last year was like $3.5 million in free cash. So went from a place where we had $200,000 to $400,000 of free cash to where we had $3.5 million last year. Free cash is how we buy trucks, vehicles, pave roads, and $200,000 doesn't go very far on that. And the first thing that was always cut was preventative maintenance and routine maintenance. Not saying that was a good thing, but that's where the priorities ended up by the select board who sets the priorities for the town. When they renovated buildings, they renovated them with the least expensive options, They put T111 siding on the side of Clyde Brown. I used that on my shed because it was the cheapest thing in Home Depot. So it's not a long-term building solution to, when you're doing a renovation.
The old Clyde Brown.
The old
Yes,
Clyde
old
Brown.
Clyde Brown.
Everything we've built since this building, all the renovations we've done, are designed to last 50 years. We didn't start with the cheapest option, we started with what will get us 50 years. I think there was a long period where we always looked at what was the least expensive option.
And was that like a national recession? Was that when there was the national thing going on, or?
There was one in
Or no
2000
building in Millis, or?
2002.
There was no growth, there was absolutely
No
no
growth.
growth.
Yeah.
Millis was absolutely flat with no housing growth coming in or anything else. So it was, I mean, new growth would be maybe 100,000 a year. So, and new growth, correct me if I'm wrong, like 950,000 last year, in that range? Yeah. So you can see we've gotten to be a healthier community, and we've directed that money towards the buildings. This building was renovated, I think in '99 is when it opened, after the renovation. I know because my first son is in the picture, my second son is not. So, and we were here at the dedication. But, so in '99, we reopened this building, and we have to do catch-up. It's 26 years old now. So it's the roof, it's the steps. There's things that have to be done, but all those things, there's things that should be done. Library had some minor leaks on the roof that we put money into after it was 10 years old. That prevented it from becoming a major problem with mold and other stuff. So we're addressing that. We've also added the Capital Planning Committee, which gets all of these requests in. And the Capital Planning Committee, we're redoing, don't want to spoil my liaison
But
updates.
that was what, you said 2017 for capital
Yeah.
planning?
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
relatively new
Yeah,
committee.
Yeah.
so that, the committee's
Tell them
only
what
8
what
years
it
old.
does.
Yeah, capital planning evaluates all the capital needs for the town. They're submitted by the departments. It's got to represent the finance committee, school, select board, members at large are on it as well. And we look at everything. And then it's prioritized. We have a little tool we use that prioritizes it. We just modified that tool to add maintenance and repair as a priority item. So you can score points if you're doing routine maintenance and repair. Before that wasn't. So we're trying to make it biased a little bit more towards that too. So I think we're on the right track, and none of the buildings we built were built with the cheapest possible materials you could find. They were built with decent materials, and, well, the Clyde Brown School, it's got a steel roof on it. It's got brick all the way around. You won't find T111 siding on it anywhere. And high school is going to be the same thing. The state mandates that for school buildings, that it has to last at least 50 years. They won't invest in any project that isn't a 50-year project. For the fire department and the police station, Wayne Klocko, who was the chair of the committee at that time, and the library, he pushed for 50-year maintenance. That was his goal. Library's got a standing seam steel roof on it, too. That's going to last for a very, very long time. So, and the old library you couldn't go into on a snowy day because the snow load would put you at risk. So, yes. So we have built differently, and we are spending on maintenance. Now, this is going to turn into, when we go for our first routine maintenance request, I'm sure, for the Clyde Brown School. Why are we spending money on Clyde Brown? It's only 10 years old. Well, we're spending, and we're not, it's not 10 years old, and we're not spending money on it yet for maintenance. But you do that so you don't go 30 years and then have to build a new school. So you take care of your buildings as you go, and that's what we're focused on now.
That's part of the comments that you see are people scream about, well, we need to tear the building down and redo it. Well, okay, and then you want to prevent that and do some routine maintenance, and people scream, why do we need to maintain anything? It's only been 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, pick one, pick a
Yeah.
lane. We're maintaining our buildings, routine, regular maintenance, coordinated. So it's moving forward very good. But I have one caveat. All the maintenance in the world isn't going to make a building last forever. A building's like us, it's like people. I can exercise, I can watch my diet, I can go to see regular checkups. I'm going to die someday. Well, maybe not me, but you're going to die someday. So same with buildings. They have a life. And as we're talking about that, the school is 60-something years old. And it had one baby renovation 20-something years ago. and it's ready for a makeover. We're very fortunate that it was built well and it has good bones and it doesn't have to be torn down. But it needs help, just like many of us do in our 60s. So that's the last piece of that.
Yeah, just one other point on that real
Go
quick,
ahead.
too. Yeah, and the part of the high school that's causing the most problem is the renovation that was done 20 years ago. So isn't that ironic? But the other piece is, it's not necessarily building maintenance, but road maintenance is another area that, same
Yes.
situation.
Yes.
When you were getting $200,000 of free cash, you didn't put money into roads. You just couldn't. It wasn't available. But we have put $500,000, at least $500,000 of free cash into roads every year for at least 5 years, it seems. Yeah, so that's a lot of money into roads, and we're waiting for the grant to come in for 109. We've deliberately not worked on 109 because we've been promised $1 million of work done by the state. I don't want to take 2 years' worth of our roads and put it into 109 when the state's promised that they would do it. At some point, we may have to rethink that, but I don't want to waste because if, the day after we fix it, the state will say, well, we would have paid for it, now you're off the list. So we're holding out for a bit longer. We're going to have DPW patch more when the weather's appropriate for patching.
They're patching every day.
Yeah,
I
they
just
are
saw
now.
them the other day on 109.
Perfect. See, they're not there when I'm there because I'm driving to work, so that's good. But I'm glad they're patching it, and it has gotten better, I've noticed, coming home too. So that's the story with the roads. We can do a whole piece on roads at some future one, but
Right.
it's also part of our maintenance. And we don't want to get to the point where we're not able to put a couple, 300 to 500,000 into roads each year. That needs to be done.
Okay. Municipal moment number 2. Next municipal moment's going to be real estate taxes, which should be, we're going to put right at the beginning, and we're going to allot
St. Patrick's Day.
plenty of time.
Yeah.
Oh, good, we can bring our
You can bring your.
green
Shamrocks.
whatever. Okay, open
Shillelaghs.
session items. Refer zoning bylaw amendments to planning board, FEMA compliance. What's that?
Yes, in your packet, Madam Chair, there's a letter from the Chair of the Planning Board, Rich Nichols, requesting that the Select Board refer a special flood hazard district and proposed zoning map amendments related to FEMA compliance back to the Planning Board for their action. They do have a public hearing on those articles on Tuesday, March 4th. And as part of the process to move forward with zoning changes, the planning board needs to send the information to the board. The board needs to review it and make sure it is fine with referring that back to the planning board for their hearing and final action before town meeting.
Okay, do we have a motion for that?
I move that the board refer zoning bylaws, section 11, special flood hazard district and zoning map, proposed amendments and articles for FEMA compliance back to the planning board for a public hearing to be held on March 4th, 2025.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, next. Approve minutes?
I move that the board approve the draft minutes of January 27th, February 3rd, February 5th, and February 10th, 2025, as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Liaison updates. What do you got?
Nothing.
I love when you say that. What do you got?
One.
I might have.
Yeah, you can't stretch it. All right. Capital.
You can't make it up.
Can't make it up. Capital Planning Committee met, and as I said during the, with the municipal moment, we did add some things to our rubric that we use. It used to only evaluate 3 items, as far as the major overall need. We added one that said recreational, historic, or cultural need.
Cool.
So that would
That's for the
encompass.
train station.
Well, that was the first one we had where we couldn't score it.
Look at you.
Because it was not a public safety hazard or issue. So we added that as a rubric. We've restructured a few of them, put in something more to encourage maintenance and repair. It's not voted yet. We'll be voting that Thursday night to accept the changes, but we had a good discussion about that. We have about, half dozen or so items before us right now that we'll use the new tool to evaluate.
Awesome.
All right.
I had the sewer. I went to the Charles River Sewer. Nothing Millis, we haven't had anybody hook on. And like, nobody was there, everybody was on vacation, so that was a quick in and out meeting. I watched the Finance Committee. I know that doesn't count.
Doesn't.
But I did watch it. It was good. I watched Joyce, she was good. And that's about it.
I have a meeting this Thursday.
It doesn't count.
So do I.
Save it for next week.
All right.
I got Wednesday and Thursday, so.
Okay, so
And there-
that's
And there
it.
is no water sewer commitment this time, it was just a placeholder, but we don't have one, so
Okay,
that's
great.
good.
All right.
So on to executive session.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I move that the board enter executive session for the following purpose and only re-enter open session for the purpose of adjourning. To discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the government's bargaining or litigating position. Fire, police, dispatch, DPW, and SEIU.
Second,
You have to pull-
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and we need to poll the board. Craig?
yes.
I'm a yes, and
Yes.
Erin's a yes, unanimous, we can go and do it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.
See ya. Thanks for coming.
Afraid you're gonna vote no on that, Ellen.